Defense News. It's proudly sponsored by Navy Federal Credit Union. If you're a member of our nation's armed forces, the Department of Defense, or if your family is, we'd be proud to serve you too.
On this episode of Defense News Weekly, stories from around the military and defense worlds. We've got updates from industry leaders, top officials, and experts around the armed forces. It's the latest in news and analysis from the Pentagon to the platoon, here on Defense News Weekly.
President Donald Trump signed an executive order recently, establishing a formal commission to address decades-old, persistent problems facing military spouses and families.
America cannot have the strongest military in the world without the love and devotion of our remarkable military spouses who make the extraordinary sacrifices for our country. Today, I'm signing an executive order to establish the first ever presidential military spouse commission.
Trump signed the order during a ceremony at the White House, flanked by more than a dozen military spouses who will be part of the new commission. The President's Military Spouse Commission will make suggestions for improving quality of life in the areas of spouse employment, housing, education, childcare, healthcare, deployment-related support, and other areas, Trump said. He also noted the strains of separation from loved ones deployed overseas and the frequency of permanent change of station moves.
Many military spouses spend months separated from their loved ones while our heroes are deployed overseas. Military families also endure frequent moves and other unique challenges, and the challenges are legendary. They write books about them. This commission will provide recommendations for improving the quality of life for military spouses so that we can better support both our military families and the entire United States Armed Forces. We've never had this opportunity. We're doing it now because we've done a lot for our military. We love our military.
For more than a decade, military spouses have struggled with unemployment rates above 20%, in addition to various problems with housing, lack of affordable childcare, and persistent issues with access to health care. The Commission's duties will include connecting with military spouses to determine common areas of concern, according to the executive order.
What I like to say is we serve by oath or by vow. We didn't all raise our right hand to take an oath, but we began serving this great nation when we extended our left hand and said a vow to the person that we love that serves this country. And we represent people that are at the end of their careers. We've served decades, 20, 30, 40 years of service. This is about the legacy that we leave for the people that come after us, for these people who have children who are serving now, or for families that we say, we love you, we care about you, and we are the greatest military in the world, and part of that is taking care of our families.
The foundation of American military readiness is the families, and the backstopping of all of that is the military spouses that serve behind them. Inevitably, every time somebody deploys, that refrigerator will break down, the car will break down. You think we're strong. American military spouses are 10 times stronger, and the lift that they carry is significant every single day.
The spouses will serve without compensation, but they may receive reimbursement for travel expenses. The group will meet each month at the White House and will provide a report on the issues at the end of each fiscal year for as long as the commission exists. The commission will end 2 years from now, unless the president extends it, according to the executive order. Taiwan began major military drills recently to test commanders' ability to fight in changing conditions when enemy movements defy expectations and in information-denied environments. The 10-day annual military exercise began early in the morning after an underground command center in Taipei issued the drill order, triggering combat readiness moves that include fighter jet dispersals and emergency naval deployments. 2 senior Taiwan officials briefed on the matter said. Taiwan will also incorporate for the first time a so-called backbrief approach modeled on U.S. military practice, in which junior officers receiving orders restate mission details to commanders, a move aimed at improving coordination. The drill will also focus on a key wartime concern: that China, which claims Taiwan as its own, despite the island's objections, would try to paralyze command centers, ports, logistics, and defense industry sites early in an attack. Held annually since 1984, the drills for the first time will include the deliberate slowing of mobile internet speeds to test how civilians would communicate if bandwidth became scarce. The military will simulate the wartime relocation of a major arsenal, mobilize civilian factories, and run escort drills off Taiwan's Pacific coast, as concern grows that Beijing may be rehearsing how to sever the island's Pacific supply lines from allies as Chinese military pressure intensifies. The potential cost of the Navy's new nuclear-powered battleship procurement program is estimated to reach an eye-popping $275 billion, with the first Trump-class battleship costing $23.4 billion, according to a Congressional Budget Office report published recently. The Trump administration in December announced its intention to build a new class of large surface combatants, designated as the Trump-class guided missile battleship.
Welcome to Mar-a-Lago for this exciting announcement of the new Golden Fleet. We're calling it the Golden Fleet that we're building for the United States Navy. As you know, we're desperately in need of ships. Our ships some of them have gotten old and tired and obsolete, and we're going to go the exact opposite direction. As Commander-in-Chief, it's my great honor to announce that I have approved a plan for the Navy to begin the construction of two brand new, very large, the largest we've ever built, battleships.
If built, the 35,000-ton nuclear battleship will be the most heavily armed surface vessel the U.S. Navy has ever constructed, possessing anti-air, land attack, and anti-ship missiles, hypersonic missiles, nuclear cruise missiles, large lasers, and a railgun. The Navy projects that between 2028 and 2056, it will build 15 Trump-class guided missile battleships, with the subsequent 14 costing $18 billion each. By contrast, the USS Gerald R. Ford, the U.S. Navy's premier nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, cost approximately $13.3 billion. The report also noted that while the price tag will be immense up front, over time, by switching to nuclear power, it would reduce the battleship's operating costs by eliminating the need to purchase fuel. Since the December announcement, the cost of Trump-class battleships has been a moving target, with the updated $23.4 billion, roughly $6 billion more than the initial Navy projection. Did you know the military still maintains a horse cavalry detachment? Often thought of as a relic of another era, the units still live on in Texas, where one group is tasked with keeping their tradition alive. Here's more.
So the horse detachment is primarily all about public relations, recruiting efforts, and keeping up with the standards and drill tradition of the late 1800s. And we start out with drill and ceremonies. So drill and ceremonies, just like your formations with soldiers, except it's on horseback. After that, we go into weapons utilization, and then we utilize the 1860 light cavalry saber, 1873 Colt single action revolver, and the 1873 Springfield carbine, just like they did back in the late 1800s. Dealing with animals, people, you get to see a different perspective of the Army for sure. So it's very interesting to be able to take care of animals every single day, you know, because maybe it's like taking care of kids, but it's like they can't talk, right? So you have to put them first. And it's just fun. It's fun to work with the people that actually want to be out here, because we do go through a trial process. And the people that are out here are the people that want to be. So it's really fun working with those kind of people that have that motivation and drive. Today, you know, we've got tanks, we've got helicopters, all those things, but the horses are what started it all for the cavalry. And I think that it's important to keep them alive, because without them, there wouldn't be a cavalry. That's what makes up the cavalry.
We've got more news coming up after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back to Defense News Weekly. Here's more of our latest coverage.
How do you feel? I'm so touched. I can't believe it. It's so surreal. I'm sorry. I can't believe it! I can't believe it!
These Danish conscripts have just made it through one of the most demanding weeks of their lives. A week designed to break them down and rebuild them for military life. I'd come to Denmark to see how its conscription system was drastically changing. I want to find out what it takes to turn regular people into soldiers and why you'd want to in the first place.
There's a shadow number of many citizens who could grab a weapon and know how to use that weapon in case something happens.
So we are in this recruitment center in Copenhagen. We'll recruit for the Defense, the Navy, the Air Force and the Danish Emergency Management Agency as well.
Any prospective conscripts must pass an intelligence test and a medical exam to make sure they are fit to serve and able to cope with the demands of military life. For those who pass the tests, a lottery system then decides their fate. The system is simple. Peel back the sticker, and if your number is below 15,000, you could be called up to serve.
So I got number 20,754, which would mean that I would be ineligible for conscription. So if I wanted to go into the armed forces, I'd volunteer.
It's remarkable to think that these little red barrels shape not only the futures of the young people in this room, but also the future of Denmark's defence. Having dodged the draft, I still wanted to see what conscription was really like. So I headed out to meet the young men and women doing their service with one of Denmark's most recognisable regiments, the Royal Life Guards. During my visit, they were taking part in a week-long challenge, living outdoors around the clock with little sleep and only half rations to keep them going. At the end of the week, they would graduate from recruit to official conscripted Royal Life Guards.
In Denmark, we've always had conscription, and that's been the same with lots of our NATO allies. There's not something you should be afraid of, because it's not about forcing people into the service, a place where they don't want to be. If they don't want to be here, there are options where they can do other stuff for a different part of society. I think it's important personally for NATO as a whole to have citizens of those countries that can actually fight in case something happens.
So what are you guys about to do? Do you have any idea what you're about to do?
So we are walking. We don't know how long. We just know that we are home at about 7 the latest in the morning.
You've been out for 4 days right now. So how's your morale and how are you feeling about everything at the moment?
At night it's down. When it's light, it's up.
Yeah.
But at night you're very down. Feel sorry for yourself.
Your energy and your awareness goes down as the sun goes down.
Yeah. It's gonna be a great night.
The conscripts would march all night in these shocking conditions, with high winds and heavy snowfall. But despite the weather, spirits were high.
Second to none! Second to none! Second to none!
This was more than just a night hike. For these conscripts, the night is filled with surprise tasks. So right now, what they're doing is a mental game. It's basically kind of like battleships. They've got to remember which square goes bang, and the next person has to avoid it. Bang!
Du er død. Tilbage i køen. Næste. Bum! Tilbage i køen. En død.
More than anything, these kinds of exercises are designed to test the conscripts' resilience, pushing them to keep going when they are tired, cold, and under pressure. After nights out in the elements, there's nothing better than finding shelter and getting warm. I found myself in a hangar full of exhausted conscripts, including a young man with a foot that had clearly seen better days. What's happened here?
I don't know. I've just looked at it, seen how bad it looks. I haven't really been that bad yet, but it doesn't look too good now.
I may have been put off my breakfast, but the conscripts were far too hungry to care, as they tucked into what the Danish army calls primitive cooking.
That's the first proper meal that they've had in 4 days. Up until now, they've had to share one ration pack between two. But regardless, they've all got smiles on their faces. It's clear that they're getting a lot from the experience.
As the exercise entered its final day, I wanted to learn more about the future of women in conscription. So I arranged to have a chat with Trina, the conscript's official spokesperson. Tell me about women and conscription here in Denmark. How is that changing and why is that important, do you think?
They have to be conscripted as men do. And why is it changing? Well, I believe it's a new kind of world that we're looking into, and women has, of course, opportunities that men do, and we also have to participate in protecting the country, because we are in the country and we are participating in society as a total daily. So we also have to contribute to this.
I'm going to be joining these guys and think it's an obstacle course. The pace was fast, and before long I'd had quite enough of crawling through the snow. We're about to enter a building. Can hear gunshots in there. No idea what happens once we're in. Coming to the end of the course now, I'm shattered, but nothing compared to what these guys are. Conscripts were still pushing on after 5 days of barely any sleep. Once they crossed the finish line, they would officially become Royal Lifeguards. I mean, you can really see what this has meant to these conscripts, not just this assault course, but over the past 4 days and over the past couple of months. They've really put their heart and soul into it. So I'm really happy for them. Great to see that amount of emotion. As Denmark's newest Royal Lifeguards marched back onto base, I was left with a new appreciation for what that title means. These young men and women have earned their place. For the remaining months of their conscription, they will now stand guard, represent Denmark, and carry on a centuries-old tradition. At a time when Denmark is reshaping conscription for a new generation, it felt like a glimpse of the future, one built on tradition, but shaped by the challenges of today.
When we come back, Jeanette Mack from Navy Federal Credit Union returns with her latest tips. Don't go away. Welcome back. In this episode of Money Minute, Jeanette Mack from Navy Federal Credit Union is back with her latest tips. Have a look.
If you're shopping for your first car, especially a used one, there's one phrase you'll definitely want to understand: clean title. The title of a car is the legal document that proves who owns the vehicle. It includes important details like the vehicle identification number, or VIN, make, model, year, and odometer reading. Simply put, a clean title means the car hasn't been declared salvaged, rebuilt, or significantly damaged. It also means there aren't major ownership issues that could complicate buying or selling the car. A clean title can help protect you financially. Cars with clean titles usually have better resale value, are easier to finance, and may come with fewer hidden repair risks. Before buying a used car, ask to see the title, check that the VIN matches the vehicle, and consider getting a vehicle history report. Watch out for red flags like salvage titles, rebuilt titles, odometer tampering, or title washing. Bottom line, a clean title gives you more confidence in your purchase and helps you buy your next car with peace of mind.
To get more coverage of military and defense topics, head over to militarytimes.com and defensenews.com for more headlines. And to be the most up-to-date service member or veteran, sign up for our early bird brief, compiled each morning to bring you the most recent news. Finally, if social media is where you collect your open source intelligence, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and X. And we're also on TikTok, so go follow us there. When we return, more stories from Defense News Weekly. Welcome back to Defense News Weekly. Here's more from around the military and defense worlds.
Welcome to Defense Dollars, your update on the defense and aerospace markets around the world and what's making the numbers move. Let's dive right in. First up, the Pentagon is preparing for a major expansion in missile defense production as it looks to keep pace with growing global security threats. Northrop Grumman has signed more than $3 billion in multi-year agreements with the U.S. government to significantly boost production of key missile defense components for the Patriot PAC-3 and THAAD systems, helping replenish stockpiles and strengthen the defense industrial base. Defense leaders say strengthening the industrial base is now a strategic priority as global demand for missile defense continues to grow. The investments are part of a broader push to increase munitions production and improve the resiliency of the U.S. defense supply chain for years to come. Meanwhile, drone maker Saildrone says its autonomous Voyager surface vessels are having an impact in real-world missions. The U.S. Navy credited a Saildrone Voyager unmanned surface vessel with helping detect, track, and support the interdiction of a drug trafficking boat carrying an estimated $81 million worth of cocaine in the Caribbean. The successful operation demonstrated how autonomous systems can provide persistent maritime surveillance at a fraction of the cost of manned platforms. Following that success, the Navy has renewed Saildrone's counter-drug mission in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, expanding the use of unmanned vessels to support regional security and maritime domain awareness. The partnership highlights the growing role of commercial autonomous technology in real-world naval operations. And finally, the Defense Department's Office of Strategic Capital is continuing its push to strengthen America's defense industrial base through private investment. The office has signed an $820 million conditional loan commitment with a critical minerals company to expand domestic processing capacity for materials essential to defense systems, batteries, and advanced manufacturing. The financing is intended to reduce U.S. dependence on foreign supply chains for strategic resources. The agreement is part of a broader effort to use public-private partnerships to accelerate industrial investment, helping ensure the U.S. can secure the materials needed for next-generation defense technologies while building a more resilient domestic supply chain. And that wraps up your Defense Dollars for this week. Join us daily on Cheddar and Defense News for more stories like these.
Well, that's all the time we have for this episode. We'll see you next week.